What's going on, guys? Welcome back. More NASCAR Heat Evolution gameplay. So in the career mode, this is kind of the way it works. You have sponsorships come on, and you basically get given a set of tasks to help improve your performance. So we get Moog steering and suspension. They offer you a sponsorship. They're going to pay me $5,000 per race. They paint my car red with a blue decal. And then we head off to Daytona, which, even though it's one of the best paying races of the year, you see there had a purse of like $11,000, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, there's some games, some racing games that have tracks in them that just don't belong in them. To me, I've always looked at, tracks like Martinsville, the tracks like Watkins Glen, Infineon, Sears Point, whatever you want to call it. To me, those tracks are really difficult to replicate right in games. I'm going to skip through qualifying here and just go right to the race. In a console game where you're going to have an analog stick, super speedways are really hard to deal with. I mean, just the twitching that you're going to expect to have with an analog stick makes it really difficult to control a car smoothly. So it's why I don't even bother really qualifying, because to be quite honest with you, it's not going to matter. These tracks, I found, even with turning the steering sensitivity down, are kind of unpredictable and difficult in the way that they run. And I usually do one of two things. I usually run up in the high line and just kind of deal with the twitchiness of it, or I will get in the low line and just kind of lean, or at least use the car above me as kind of like a buffer to not hit anything. To me, though, this also is one of the places where I actually kind of like the way the draft works, because, I mean, you can see here as I kind of get really loose, this is the last place I wanted to be at this point. You can actually kind of see when cars get separated that you have a struggle to catch them. Or like in this situation, you look at a car all by itself there on the outside of me, he's going to fall back a lot faster than he would if there was a car with him. So for what it's worth, in one of the most difficult places to get the draft right, they kind of did an alright job. So kind of just get settled in here, and again, like, this is so difficult to control, and certainly no one should ever invest in a wheel for this game given the state of where it is. But I imagine it would make it a lot smoother to deal with. But you just kind of get thrown through these turns and down these aprons, and you can see the frame rate there. I hope you can see the frame rate. Just kind of taking a little bit of a hit. But when we get back and talk about realistic racing, this is a track where if you hit the apron, yeah, your day's pretty much done. You're not just going to be on the apron, off the apron like I am, and just dealing with some residual tire smoke. So that's probably one thing they should make a little bit more of a detriment. And it's that same way also, although not here. We'll probably get to other tracks where you hit the grass. The grass really isn't something that impedes your speed enough. And therefore, I haven't seen a lot of online racing with this, but there's no real risk versus reward of cutting a turn that way. To get back to what we've talked about with the AI, again, I know a lot of people hate the AI in this game, and they have their own reasons for that. But to me, just visually now, looking at the way this pack is spread out, is relatively realistic. I mean, you do not have the one massive 43 car pack at Daytona at all. It's just too tight of a track that you don't really see that because of the tri-oval that you would at Talladega. It's going to be really interesting the way that's going to work out. I figured I would be able to clear McMurray, and I hadn't, but I'm also just basically riding alongside of him. And in this situation, I'd probably get turned around if we were talking about a better racing game, and right there I almost did. So that right there is probably going to kill whatever run I had coming to the line, or at least it should. It'll be interesting. I should not be able to catch back up to anyone after losing that much speed unless they have an issue. I'm kind of shocked personally that I didn't lose any positions in that. But to me, again, this game has so much to build upon to be considered even remotely average. It's kind of a shame to see what came of it. So 32nd there at Daytona. It's kind of what I expected. It's not the best track, but again, given what it is, probably a track that shouldn't even be in this game until it has a lot more refinement to it. Appreciate you guys checking this video out. I'll be back later on with more commentary.